Hello everyone, welcome to iBasiac. Very quick one today. I'm in my scruffs. I've not even changed my socks, you know. But I thought I'll unbox this. It might be of interest, you know. So let's do it. Now I've got this. Some of you may remember, some of my older viewers, or well, not older, some of my regular viewers perhaps, who have been watching my channel for a while, might remember yet another vacuum disaster. Well, it wasn't quite a disaster. I unboxed an Ensign Stealth vacuum cleaner made by Sebo. It's supposed to be brand new, and I think it was more or less unused, but there was a fault with the automatic height control. It just wasn't moving at all. And there was a red light, I think, flashing. You can check the link to the video if you want to see that. So I tried all sorts of things to try and get it fixed, and I couldn't fix it. And I thought, well, I don't really want to spend money on a part in case it's not the part that's faulty. So when I saw this up for sale, oh, and it is filthy. I knew it would be. But honestly, a quick wipe down wouldn't have gone amiss. When I saw this on eBay, that looks like it's been removed from the bottom of a pond. Now this seller sells a lot of vacuum parts on eBay, and basically this was sold as a Sebo X1 motor. The rest comes free. Well, I'm not interested in the motor, I'm interested in the gubbins that works the auto height control, because that's what was faulty on my other machine. Now if I take the bag housing and the handle from my Ensign Stealth, I'm pretty sure it would fit on top of this, and we can test this unit out, see if it works. So if it works, if the height control works, then I'll know, in order to change the parts, I'll know it works, so I'll be able to sort of move parts about and just try and identify which part is causing my Stealth not to work. I think though, underneath all this dirt, I've probably got quite a good conditioned Sebo Automatic X1 base. But it is absolutely filthy. The seller does say, don't leave negative feedback if you find it dirty, because the seller sells dirty stuff. Oops. Let's have a look underneath. And this part here, this is a servo motor that controls this wheel that moves up and down. Now I'm hoping that that bit is working. Obviously if it's not, I can't blame anybody but myself. Basically this was sold as a motor, a working motor. It didn't say anything about the other bits working, and it might have been discarded because that bit stopped, but who knows. It's worth a punt. I think it cost me about £20 or something, which is far less than one of the individual parts would have been. But to be honest, apart from all the dirt, you'd think this part would be rusty, this metal bit, you'd think that would have been rusty. But no, really under the dirt I think this is going to be quite good condition. I don't know if this is a replacement brush. As you can see, it's very filthy. I should really get an X1 for my collection. Obviously I can't get a new one. Ugh, ew, yuck. I can't get a new one. But you know, there's quite a few on eBay still working. There's the brush. Looking at it, I mean, it could well be an original Sebo brush, I don't know. Obviously newer ones don't have the black brushes. I think they're either white or blue, or the green if you go for the soft option, the soft brush roller. Ugh, oh, it is horrible. Horrible it is. Yuck. So it will be interesting to see And I can't do it in this video because unfortunately my Ensign Stealth is packed away in its box somewhere at the back of my storage area. So, but you know, I thought, well, I'll get this. I saw it. So it's an 850 watt motor, this, maximum 1000 watt. But I think, to be honest, if this all works, apart from it looking absolutely filthy dirty, because the X1s were not a high gloss finish like the X1.1 and the X4s you buy now, they don't show the scratches. It's this sort of matte plastic finish. So I think once I've given this a wipe, it'll probably come up quite well. Let's have a look at the... That is as black as your hat with a Lancashire accent. Now who knows where that's from? If you can tell me under the comments where I've got that quote from. As black as your hat with a Lancashire accent. It means you're a fan of a particular comedian, who I'm a fan of too. But that is as black as your hat. That's the carbon dust. I do actually have a spare one of these because they haven't changed in all the years. This is exactly the same exhaust filter. It should be white, that. So that's had a lot, or white or very pale yellow. Maybe just be able to see tiny bit where it's the original colour. So I do have another one of those. I don't like tinkering with filthy dirty stuff. I know Mr. Rusty from Rusty Skull Productions, he's not averse to getting his hands dirty, although I have seen him wearing gloves in some videos. But when I buy a second-hand item, I try and go for ones that look clean. I don't mind cleaning a bit of muck off, but sometimes, you know, this one is particularly dirty. Isn't it? It's a classic design, this. I will hopefully be getting at some point, oh well, I will be, I'll be getting an X1.1 again, a white one. I'll probably be getting the X4 Pet Boost. I certainly want to get the new X1.1 before 2017, when the new regulations come into effect, providing we're still in the EU, UK, don't know if we'll be, but we might still have to have 900 watt maximum motored vacuums in 2017. I can't see them stopping that, but anyway, I think under the dirt it's... Oh, my carpet. My poor carpet. So, that's what I've done. It's a quick doobly. I might do a sort of another video actually trying to fix the Ensign Stealth. What I will do, I'll give this a good clean up. I'm not going to open it up or anything. I'll clean it. I'll put the new filter, exhaust filter in probably. Give it a good clean all this brush roll, just clean everything without actually dismantling it, and then I'll test it using, I'm assuming it'll work. I think it will fit, but it might not. If it doesn't fit, then I can't, but I'll just have to take the bits out that I need. But I think this should be more or less the same inside as my Stealth, because the Stealth is this shape, it's just in a dark grey colour. But they were built to last, Sebos, and if that works, but I think I'll be surprised, you might be surprised, how new that can look after I've given it a bit of a clean. But Sebos, you know, they are good machines. They're not, you know, they're not glamorous vacuum cleaners. They're not exciting. They're rather dull. But they are reliable and they do the job. Much like my partner. But anyway. Oh, Roger. That is dirty. I think I might have caused a bit of staining on the carpet with these filthy bits, but the carpet is due for another shampooing, so I'm not too concerned. I really should have put down some newspaper. But anyway, there it is. A little bit different. Not a whole vacuum. Part of a vacuum. The head of a Sebo Automatic X1. So, as I say, if you want to see the other video when I unboxed the Stealth, which hopefully this donor part will make the Stealth work. As soon as I can get the Stealth working, as it should, with the automatic height control, I will of course be doing a demo. And another thing I'm going to do, I've always wanted to do, is compare the automatic height adjustment Sebos to the manual, because I've always preferred personally the manual height, which you can find, for example, on my, I've got an Ensign, what is it, SM2, that's on the channel with the wide head, that's manual height, and my Sebo Professional G1, that's also a manual height control. So it'd be interesting to put the G1 up against the Stealth, the Ensign Stealth, because they're both basically the same sort of cleaner, but they differ. The Stealth has the automatic height control and the G1 has the manual. So it'd be interesting to see. I can put the dirt down and do a direct comparison, because I've never really liked the auto height adjustment feature. Some people do. I just find it skims the top of the pile. It doesn't feel like it's doing a good job. But anyway, that's just my preference. I do prefer the manual controls. But anyway, there it is. Thanks for watching. I'm just going to wash my hands and pick this muck up, and I'll give this a quick spray and see if we can reveal a nice clean plastic underneath. In fact, what I'm going to do, because some of you might want to see it clean, I'm going to just spray it quickly and just give it a rudimentary wipe and just show you what that looks like. Well, I'll just put it down on a couple of old tea towels, because if I spray stuff on and the muck goes on the carpet, that definitely will mark the carpet. I've just got some multi-surface non-toxic kitchen cleaner. Just give it a quick squirt. It is quite satisfying actually when you get old cleaners. I much prefer, of course, to get brand new or vintage unused cleaners, but they are thin on the ground, the vintage unused. Brand new ones, of course, they're widely available. But there is something very satisfying about getting an old wreck and just, wow, and just cleaning it up. Look at that already. Look at that. I mean, it's obviously this cleaner is getting the surface dirt off very easily. There are some further marks that have revealed themselves. I know Mr. Rusty Skull likes to use baby wipes, but to me, a baby wipe is for wiping a dirty baby's bottom, not for cleaning up an appliance. But they are useful. But personally, I think you're better off if you want to go down the wipe method. And of course, there's some things you clean that you shouldn't get too wet. If you're going down the wipe method, you can of course buy surface wipes that are designed to clean household surfaces. So personally, that's the sort I would use, but I think Mr. Rusty got a job lot cheap, so that's why he uses baby wipes. And of course they'll come in useful when he has another baby, won't they, Rusty? He might already have had a new one by the time I upload this, or his missus could be watching this with him. They could be sitting on the sofa, hand in hand, looking lovingly at each other and glancing at this video, and I'm mentioning about Rusty having another child, and then all of a sudden Rusty's missus looks over to him and says, "Oh, Rusty." Well, that's not his name. "Oh, Cedric. How did he know we're going to have another issue? I am with child, you virile young man. We've got a playmate for our lovely little daughter." So, oh dear. Anyway, check out Rusty's channel if you like. Rusty Skull Productions. He's trying to take my thunder though by doing more vacuum videos. He says that's where the views are, you see. He tinkers with a lot of things. And although I like his vacuum videos, I do watch quite a lot of his other ones, because it's quite relaxing to watch somebody tinkering and pottering. But anyway, that'll do for now. There are some other marks that will need maybe a cream cleaner to get off, but it's certainly, I mean, that took me just a couple of minutes. The seller could have, yeah, it's horrible underneath. The seller could have just wiped it over briefly, but anyway, they could get more money, you know. If they present things, if that was presented all cleaned up, this would have only taken, the seller could have taken 20 minutes perhaps, getting it nice and clean, taken the brush roll out, got rid of all that gunk. I reckon they could have got at least £10 more for this than they did. At least. But anyway, that's the initial clean up, revealing a much nicer looking vacuum, but obviously it does need a proper going over. But all in all, I did expect it to look pretty good underneath, and that looks, you know, just a few minutes. You saw me doing it. You saw me doing it in real time. Obviously, it needs a lot more work. I need to take the bottom off, give that a cleaner as well, and I will be cleaning all this before I test it out. But you know, it's a nice thing to do. Vacuums, you can get second-hand vacuums quite cheaply, especially if you go to Gumtree. Don't go on eBay and you've got lots of people bidding. If you go to somewhere where you can collect them, you can pick them up for a couple of pounds. That's how I started. You know, before I had any real money to buy new vacuums, I used to go to what we had in the old days with jumble sales. That was the first port of call, really, for where I got all my old ones. And of course, when I was at school, people knew about my vacuum interest. I didn't hide it. Most were quite interested, and I fixed teachers' vacuums. And of course, when a school friend or teacher said, "Oh, I've got this old vacuum you can have," often I got given them. And sometimes they're in a right old state, and I used to clean them up, and you got a great deal of satisfaction from doing it. So it's a nice little hobby to do, and it can be a very cheap hobby, it can be a very expensive hobby, but it also can be a cheap hobby. So if you're thinking of starting a collection, that's what I do. Don't be shy about your interest. Tell other people. If they're going to make fun of you, they're not your friends. But a lot of people will be interested. There's plenty of people, I know from my channel, from the comments I get, there's a lot of vacuum enthusiasts, and they start at a very young age. As you all know from some of the shout out videos I've done for very young vacuum fans, 5 years and under, some of them. But yeah, if you want to start a collection, you're better off getting second hand and just cleaning them. Often you'll find if they don't work, often with most of the ones I got that they said, oh, they don't work very well, it was just a case they needed a good clean, you know. They just needed, well, back in the day, they needed the bag changing, or there was a blockage, they needed a new belt or new brushes and a good clean up, and most of the time they were as good as new. So there you go. I knew that would come up well. As I say, there's a few bits here. I think they will remove with a little bit of a more vigorous cleaner. But all in all, that's in pretty good shape. Now we can see a bit better the 4 lights for the onboard computer. This is the bit inside that I'm hoping is working. So you've got this light, which symbolises, that comes on when the brush is going down. That comes on when the brush is raising. That one comes on, I believe, when you need to check the brush. Either you've got it, you've caught something in the brush. I think that lights up if the brush is worn. And then of course you've got your bag check indicator all on the control board there. In fact, this hasn't changed very much at all. This X1 compared to the X1.1 and the X4, basically apart from a bit of cosmetic changes, they're very, very similar. Right, there we go. Got my hands dirty in this video. Don't normally do that. Well, it went on for a bit longer than I expected, but it's nice to have a chat. I just thought I'd do a quick 5 minutes, but sometimes, you know, I get lonely. And it's nice to chat to folk. So share your vacuum stories if you like below. What was your first vacuum? That'd be interesting to know. Where did you get your first one? What started you on the vacuum collecting bug, or just being interested in vacuums? Obviously some of you can't really afford or have the space to have a big collection, but you can always find room for 1 or 2 vacuums, can't you? I know I can. Oh dear. There we go. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again with more vacuum demos and unboxings and whatever. It's been fun, and it continues to be. I'm talking as if I'm leaving you. I'm not. No plans to stop this channel, so plenty more to come up, plenty more things I've got in my head that I'm going to share with you that I hope you'll enjoy. So until the next time, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.